everybody, and welcome back. It is the Failed Author, and by the time you're seeing this, Battlefield 3 servers, they're long gone. And the question I'm going to ask for this video is, what do we do now? Battlefield 3, this has been a staple in the first-person shooter community since October 2011. Now, as of recording this is... I'm late. I did post a short. By the way, if you like first-person shooters, Battlefield, Call of Duty, gun videos, bowling videos, random crud, go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you want to see anything specific when it comes to more classic first-person shooters, Nintendo 64 games, and whatnot. And, follow along. It's the Failed Author. We love it. We love it. You love it, right? Right? Surely. I don't know. Anyways, I posted a video on November 7th when the servers were actually taken down. And now, like I said, as of recording it, this video, I apologize. It is the 20th of November. I was actually out of state for 2 weeks, so I was dealing with some family issues and visiting family, so it was something that I wanted to be present in the moment for, and I didn't really, I don't really make YouTube videos hardly at all in general, so, not something I wasn't going to take myself away from. I wanted to be in the moment, be present. So now that I'm back, and I am making videos, or wanting to make more videos, feeling a little bit creative, I just want to let you know, if you like Battlefield 3, I did my darndest to record as much as I could. For better or for worse, I have 40 plus Battlefield 3 videos saved that I will be posting periodically. It was supposed to be the summer of Battlefield 3. It didn't quite turn out that way. I think I only posted like twice. Yep, life happens. What are you going to do? As far as this gameplay goes, classic North Shore Canals, using what I would say most to consider the best weapon in this game, the AN-94. It is so good, and it is so, and just like, it's okay to be like a mark sometimes, It's okay to be a homer, and what I mean by that is, it's okay. I look at the AN-94 and I'm like, yo, this thing is just cool, right? Like, it oozes machismo, and two of my favorite pro wrestlers of all time, my favorite being Scott Hall, and one of my favorites being the Macho Man, they had machismo, okay? They had the coolness. And when I look at this game in general, I just think about how cool it is. But again, I'm proposing the question, what do we do now that Battlefield 3 is over? Mind you, there was like a dedicated 100 to 200 players on this game every day. And to me, it's not like this easy, transitions. Like, it was such a weird feeling November 7th when the servers were shut down and the game officially ended, because it is finito, it is final. And, I'm not a PC gamer. I don't know what the community's like. I haven't even bothered to check because I do not like playing on the PC. I never have. I just don't. And I'm not going to make that transition. I don't want to. It's just not something I'm personally going to do. But if there is a thriving PC community, I suppose I could dabble. I could check it out. If anybody knows, let me know. Not that anybody's going to watch this, but if you do and you happen to know, go ahead and drop a comment. But what I've done is, because again, I'm an Xbox One player, and I do have the slightly higher tiered monthly subscription. And it's really nice because they're all partnered with, EA. Microsoft owns, pretty sure that, I don't know if they own EA, but they own just about all the major developers at this point, right? But part of that higher tiered subscription, you get access to all these free games and whatnot. And I immediately went and downloaded, even though it wasn't my favorite, Battlefield 4. Because the Battlefield 4 that you could download actually included, all the DLC, all the weapon unlocks, except for DLC, stuff you have to unlock within the DLC. I guess they did not just give you for free. Sorry, I'm gonna take a drink right now. 1 second. So I did. I went ahead and downloaded Battlefield 4 actually last night, the 19th, and I played it. Now, mind you, I did play Battlefield 4 in its prime. And I will say, I can go and look at my PlayStation 4's character, and, I can look at the stats and everything. And, I put in a decent amount of time. Nothing like Battlefield 3. Because, again, if you were to ask me what I think the best first-person shooter of all time is. I'm hands down, I'm actually doubling down and telling you, after playing it in its prime on release throughout its entire lifespan of Battlefield 3 to playing it over a decade later, and I hadn't touched it. I had not touched Battlefield 3 since 2013. And then playing it again starting in 2023, it was just such a great experience, an experience that I wish I would have got into earlier, you know, because I've had this Xbox for years. I think I swear I got that thing, I believe it was the Sunset Overdrive, like, edition, which it was just a white Xbox One at the time, and, you know, I traded in my Wii U, if you can believe that. I actually didn't trade it at, I shouldn't say I traded it, I sold it on Facebook Marketplace, and, you know, I got the money from that to buy the Xbox One, and I was really just wanting to get Killer Instinct because I loved Killer Instinct Gold when I was a kid on the N64, and that's how I got here. And I feel bad, I could have been playing this the whole time, and I'm like, dang, if I would have just done that, who knows how my life would have turned out. Just playing, I'm being stupid, but what do we do now? For me, I am gonna scratch the Battlefield itch with Battlefield 4. Now, when it comes to Battlefield 4, I remember latency being the biggest effing issue that I could not stand. I felt like and I don't even know if you want to call it like the net code. I remember that was like the buzzword for years. Oh, the net code of the game's bad. Like on a game's release, like, oh, it's buggy. You know, the net code is trash. Or especially if you played Mortal Kombat, you could tell like they have like good net code for a fighting game. People still totally complain about it, and I don't get it. It's like, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. It really depends on who you ask, right? But Battlefield 4, the thing that bugged me was it felt like the bullet latency was super delayed compared to Battlefield 3. Like Battlefield 3, you're aiming down sights, you're pulling the trigger, you feel like it's going to hit there, it's going to reach at an appropriate time. And Battlefield 4, it always just kind of felt off. Now, mind you, I played yesterday, and there were servers, I was playing way late at night, like 1 in the morning, and, you know, there was like a couple servers, but a lot of people were playing hardcore, which I never liked, and so that kind of stunk. But I did find a more, like a typical lobby, and it's like, it's the same issues I was seeing with Battlefield 3, but almost worse. It's locking you to one map, crazy high ticket counts. Like, thank God I was smart enough to get you know, I'm so dumb, like, and naive, like, getting back into, like, games like this. Like, I should have, in Battlefield 3, there was the shortcuts to unlock, like, all the weapons. I should have purchased those, and I didn't. And, you know, luckily I have all the weapons now for 4, so that's not going to be an issue. But I remember, too, in 4, you know, just not having, like, a go-to. Like, in Battlefield 3, I feel like I had multiple weapons that, especially, like, particularly every class that I was like, oh, this is my go-to. And we could talk about, like, I think this is what it's going to turn into is, like, what are we doing now if you're a Battlefield 3 fan? And if it is Battlefield 4, which is what I'm saying is obviously the next alternative, the next best thing, because it's still going. Like, what are the pros? What are the cons? What can you expect if that's something that you want to do and want to make that change? So I could tell you for sure that, again, like, the gunplay was good. I'm not going to say it was bad, because it was not. But it just wasn't as consistent, and that is what my biggest takeaway from it. I will say the destructive nature of the maps were so cool. Having the 60, what was it? I swear it's 64 players in one game is so impressive for the time that it came out. Mind you, it never occurred to me how fast Battlefield 4 came out from 3, but how big of a jump it was graphically, map-wise, the capability of the destruction. And so just thinking about that, I have to tip my hat and say, like, I truly was impressed. And, you know, it's just one of those games that I think I will grow to appreciate it more coming back to it, which I cannot believe that game is... It's, 11 years old now, too. Oh, man, like, that's so nuts. I think I'll appreciate it more, and I think it's going to get a more fair shake, and I can have a better time, make some more memorable moments in game. And when I just remember some of the maps were they just flat out were like gorgeous, like the size and scale were so cool. But I kind of touched on it earlier, and I'm going to circle back real quick. I know we're all over the place. It's like typical things like when you're passionate about something, you're excited, you don't feel like you can get everything out in one sentence, and that's kind of where we are. So I'm trying to cram this into a 17-minute team deathmatch. We were using the AN-94. I saw the Spaz run the F2000, but, you know, I don't feel, and I didn't feel like I had a gun that was my go-to. Yes, the 870's in there, and I remember using that a lot. And I can't remember if something like the Scar L was in there. If it was, I remember using a Scar weapon, whether it was H or L or whatever the actual name of the weapon was. And I remember enjoying that, so I'll have to kind of go through and do that. I did like the secondaries, because I remember one of the secondaries, it was just so cool. Carrying around a little stubby shotgun as your secondary. I remember thinking, like, wow, this thing's like crazy. This is so overpowered. I love it, you know? It's so cool. But we'll see. And again, falling into the same tropes and issues that the meta of Battlefield 3 up until the 7th of this month, Battlefield 4, if I'm playing, and I can't remember the map name, and everybody's going to know this one, I think it's Lockdown, the snowy prison map. Like, if I have to play that over and over and over again, I just, like, I'm going to go crazy, because as much as I love North Shore Canals, I would like to play some other maps. You can play Team Deathmatch on virtually any map, and it is just fine. Now, I get North Shore just happens to be, like, the GOAT, you know, understood. Like, it's an amazing map. It's so much fun. We love it, and it's why it's like probably one of the most, if not the most iconic map in modern. I don't even think it's not even modern Battlefield anymore. I don't even know what we're calling this, classic Battlefield. Oh my god. Sorry, I took a drink there, but yeah. So you're sad like me that Battlefield 3 is out. Here's what I can tell you. I have played Battlefield 1942, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 1. I cloud stream Battlefield 5. I don't think I'll ever play that again. I don't like... you know, it's weird saying this. Like, I haven't been a fan of all the Battlefields. I really do think 4 is the last one I enjoyed. Now, I put in some time into 1, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, this did not translate the way that they thought it was going to translate. And mind you, this is really when we were starting to get into scummy microtransactions, almost pay-to-win kind of ordeal, even in Battlefield, which is such a shame. It's such a shame. Like, I can understand releasing the game. Like, Battlefield 3, when they released the game, you're like, wow, there's so many weapons. There's even extra weapons to unlock by doing co-op and, you know, using the kits. When they released the DLC and it had weapons, they weren't like something you had to have, because the base guns happen to be probably some of the better weapons in the game. Now, and I remember in 1, it was like, you know, it's World War 1. Everything's like bolt action, maybe a semi-auto rifle. I remember a DLC weapon that was like a pay weapon was like fully automatic, a submachine gun or something like that. And pretty much anyone who had that would dominate. Or if you were a great sniper, you know, you had an advantage. And I just remember not liking the experience because it was, I don't want to say like too primitive, but like the maps are so big, it wasn't quite the same experience that you got from 3 or 4. So I'm ruling 1 out. I don't even want to go back to 5. I literally played 1 map. Mind you, the controls changed from 3 to 4 to a more modern first-person shooter, which I forgot. And that's like, okay, that's an easy adjustment. But Hardline was not it. I wish they would have just made that a separate entity and not drag in Battlefield's name. I remember me and the boys back in the day bought that, and like we gave it a fair shake. And, you know, it can be fun. Like, I kind of like the concept, and that's kind of why I wish it was like, but I mean, like, Payday is like a real similar game, right, I believe. I've never played Payday, but I know it's like a heist, you know, shooter as well. And it also was not the same. So where does that lead me? It leads me to 2042, which I streamed through the Xbox, like, cloud gaming, and I did not like it. And again, like, this may just me be a situation where I'm an old man yelling at the clouds, because I am, and that's okay. But I don't know, man. It didn't have the same vibes, and that's why I'm telling you, I know it seems like, oh, of course it is, you know, the next logical conclusion, but you're moving on from 3 and you can't get over it. Just go to 4. There's still a community. There's still people playing it. It's still hopefully scratching the itch, and that's all I need it to do, because I just want to get some more gameplays and put it on this account, but it'll never replace 3. I cannot fathom, and this is like, we're kind of wrapping up here. I'm just seeing the time on the video remaining, but I cannot fathom how DICE has not remastered 3. And I mean this sincerely. Like, it would be such an easy cash cow to just update the graphics, update some certain mechanics, whatever, keep the same weapons, keep the same feel, and then just leave it alone. Same maps. You could even add DLC, right? Like new stuff. It'd be great. But it's just like these companies refuse to do. So what are they going to do? They're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars developing a new game, which everybody fucking hated when it came out. And, you know, it took, you know, what, a year, multiple patches and DLC and crud to fix it. I just don't understand it. And like, it's not DICE, like Activision, guilty as charged. Oh, they're like, Modern Warfare 2, one of the most beloved Call of Duty shooters of all time. Shooters in general. They're like, we're totally doing it, and it's just a current Call of Duty. It's like copy and paste, different maps, different guns, but it's the same physics, same everything. And like, that's like the one thing I'll give Battlefield 1 and 5, right? Those were, that you felt like you were in that, they did the timepiece very well. Like, there's no doubting that. You're riding a horse, chopping people. That's crazy. That was awesome, right? But ultimately, I'm just sad that it's over. I'm glad to have been part of the ride. If you were also glad to be part of the ride, you should consider subscribing. I have more to come out. Again, I'm the failed author. Thank you so much for watching. I cannot believe Battlefield 3 is over, but don't you worry. I have plenty of videos. We actually went 31 and 12. Not too bad, kid. Not too bad. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day, evening, night, whatever it may be. And follow along for the ride.